services, thank you for your services, we're done. Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are new here, hello, my name is TheShai. I do mainly beauty content on this channel, little fashion or vlogs, that seems like your vibe. Then make sure you subscribe. So what's up guys, it's been a minute. I think I did upload a video a few days ago, but this is my first like proper video back in a second. It's crazy. I am going to put on my primer today because we're going to jump straight into the chit chat. We're not into the long talking, let's get into it. I'm using my Fenty hydrating primer. Literally use this all the time. I feel like it's just a nice go-to primer. It works, it does what it says, and it just gets the job done. So we're just going to start applying this. I feel like the last time I really did a chit chat was nearly 2 months ago, around my birthday times when I was in Paris. I absolutely loved that trip. Literally one for the books. Life has been lifing. I feel like adulting has been a very crazy journey, but I feel like I'm coming to a point where I just feel like I've grown so much, you guys. On my birthdays before, I always felt like I was so focused on what I lacked. Like, it's so easy, especially around your birthday, to get like really reflective and get like, oh, what do I want to do for the next year, or what have I done this year? And I always felt like I was so focused on lack, and I would get really sad and really like, I would start to feel depressed because I just felt like I wasn't where I wanted to be. I hadn't, you know, crossed all my goals off, and it was I just became really frustrated. And I feel like this year was my first year where I was like, I feel so peaceful and I feel so grateful. I had such a spirit of gratitude. I was just appreciative of all the experience. That's what I feel like was the big thing on my heart. Like, I was appreciative of everything coming up to the moment. This was like my first birthday in a very long time, if not ever, that I sat down and I felt like I'm just so blessed and I'm so happy. Everything I've been to come to this point, like everything has been worth it. Like, some things, you know, you might regret, or some things you feel like you wish you never did, but at the end of the day, like, everything made me into the woman I am today, and I feel ready and prepared to step into my new era. And I don't know what it is, I genuinely feel like God is preparing me, and I'm prepared to step into my next era, my next season, my next phase of my life. And I don't know, I felt very appreciative. I'm literally in the era of becoming her. It's such a like different feeling when you start to reflect and understand like you're becoming who you've always wanted to be, and that's just such a blessing, and I'm really grateful for it, honestly. So that's kind of where my mind has been at. And let me get into foundation before I never do anything. I'm using my NARS. This is the Natural Radiant, the OG. I love this. I feel like it's a big trend on social media right now. Everyone, like, you know, they're becoming that girl, and like the aesthetics and the soft life. And I feel like a lot of the focus on that is about outwards. Like, it's about aesthetics, it's about appearance. I feel like there needs to be more focus on the woman you're becoming inside. You can dress something up really nice and like make it look good, but at the end of the day, who are you as a person? Like, how do you treat people? What do you believe? What are your morals? What are your values? Are you a person of your word? Like, all of that really, really matters. And I feel like it's such a focus on how things look and the aesthetics and the nicer things and the dressing up. That comes so easy. Like, that is the easy part. That's the fun part. The part that you need to take the most time with is like your inner growth. And I think that's really important. Yeah, I feel like the last month, that's kind of where like I've been at in my head. Physically, I've been at work. And work is just work at this point. Like, it's not like my career dream, it's not where I want to be. I'm a strong advocate of like, I'm not moving until God wants me to move. Everything for a reason, and everything has its season. So I'm not trying to rush a season or rush off and do things. I'm really trying to take my time, pray about it, ask God about it, and like move when I need to. So I'm really proud of myself for how I've patterned up this year, because when I tell you guys, coming into 2023, I didn't think I would be doing half the things I've done. Like, the fact that I've been on 2 solo trips within 2 months of each other is insane. I've always just had faith that I can do it. Like, I've always had faith. Like, even on my birthday trip, guys, I didn't plan. I thought of going, but I didn't really plan it properly until like 2 weeks before. Like, I didn't even book my flight. Like, I was like, I don't know, and like I just did it, and I don't know how I handled it, honestly. Oh, the blessings, trust me. But this year has been like a surprising year for me, and I just feel very blessed and grateful for all the great things I've experienced, but also the growth. I think that's the thing I'm most excited about. and I feel like I planned it out pretty well to where like I know like the next year and the next year I can only get better and better and better, and I just feel really happy and proud of myself. I'm just grateful. Like I have a spirit of gratitude. Like everything, like even the good, the bad, the heartbreak, the everything has just made me into the woman I am today, and I'm just so grateful and blessed. The fact that I'm still in my 20s, like that just makes me even more excited, because I feel like I've still got so much to go. I've still got so much to learn. So I'm just in a very happy and like positive space, and I feel like optimistic. Like that's the big thing. I'm very optimistic right now. I'm definitely like in that bag of like becoming the woman I want to be, and I hate to say the woman of my dreams because that's like a buzzword these days, but I don't feel like it's a dream. Dream just gives it too much of like a elusive kind of out of reach vibe. Everything is manifesting, and I'm just thanking God, because like it's just all lining up to where it needs to be. Everything's slowly coming together. That's where I'm at right now, and I'm really excited. And there's a little bit of, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm scared. There's a little bit of like, oh, this is really happening. This is really, everything's coming together. It's like back to back that I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay. And I'm just in a good space. Look at that. Nas is that girl. That girl. Let's put on a little eyeshadow. You guys already know my makeup by Mario is just that girl. She is her. Love her. So we're just gonna, you know, use a few of these on the eyes. I'm not gonna really prime because we don't need to. One of the biggest things I feel like has helped me is my fave. My fave has increased so much in the last few months. I feel like I touched on it slightly in my last few chit chats, but when I tell you guys like the peace that I feel, the like confidence that I feel, how settled I feel, it's like literally because of my faith and like me praying more, communicating more with God, and just like putting my focus more on like my faith and just trying to do better. Like it's helped me so much. Like I can't sit here and be like, oh, it was just me, I've just changed. Like no, like my faith has had a big impact on like how I feel now, and like my spirit of just being grateful and like my gratitude. Like I don't think I would have been in this mental space if it wasn't for that. God is just so good. So I'm just feeling very blessed and very grateful in general. But I gotta shout out to, you know, God, and like let you guys know that, because I was going through it last year and the last couple of months. Honestly, zoom you guys in a bit more, because I feel like when it comes to makeup, you guys need to be a little close. And I'm gonna do some makeup reviews, guys. Let me show you guys. Look what we got. Finally. Also, house labs. Also, because I gave you guys an option, but you know how I am. I'm waiting to come through to the girl. So we have 3 reviews to get through today. I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I literally could not come on here and not tell you guys like my faith has like really helped me. And I know not everyone believes in God, and that's like something that I feel like I was a bit apprehensive to bring to my channel, because I feel like, oh, people gonna, like if I do something wrong or not the best, people are gonna bring it up. But at the end of the day, this is my journey. And like for some people, I was talking to my mom about this, like for some people like their faith journey happens overnight. For some other people it's gradual, and for me it's like a gradual change, and it's a personal thing for me. So I'm not afraid to talk about it, but I'm also like pretty much like I'm on my journey, so I can't allow other people's opinions or judgment to like deter me or make me feel bad or make me not want to share what I want to share, you know. But yeah, it's like my faith has helped me so much. It's grown so much, and I feel so happy about it. And I'm just in a really good space with it, you know. I feel like a really important thing for me was also like just not comparing myself, but not just that, but like creating my own timetable of what I want for myself. Because for me, I feel like it's very easy, especially when you're getting to your 20s, where like everyone's life kind of goes this way. So some people are having babies, some people are getting married, some people are engaged, some people like, everyone's in different places. Family life, love life, career-wise, everyone could be in like 15 different places, and it can be a bit all over the place. It's very easy to be insecure. For me, I can honestly say I was a bit insecure, because I was just like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not in the career I want to be, I'm not here. It kind of started to reflect in different ways, like not in my friendships, because my friends like are amazing. Like my friends have never made me feel any, like my friends are incredible. Like I've never felt uncomfortable. But me personally, like I noticed that I start to isolate myself a lot more. And I feel like it started to affect me, even like my confidence as a person. I've never struggled with confidence, like as far as like my looks or like how I look. Like I've always been pretty confident. And shout out to my family and my parents like for always like instilling confidence in me, because I remember being a young girl, my parents always used to like tell me how, you know, beautiful I am and how amazing I am. But I feel like I lacked confidence because I feel like I attached so much of my confidence in like my aspirations, because I always like had big aspirations, big goals. I don't know if there's ever been a time in my life where I've not been proud of myself, and I think that was one of the first moments. I lost so much confidence and self-esteem because of that, because I attached so much of like my confidence and my self-esteem and my pride into like achievements, and it was like, oh my gosh, I haven't achieved this yet, and my confidence went. And I started to notice it, not just like in general, but like even like down to dating, like my confidence went so low. It's so crazy how your confidence in one thing can like trickle into different areas of my life. Because even dating wise, I was making excuses, not even making excuses, but I feel like things that I cut off and like things that I was like, no, I don't want to go with this person, I found myself like now going on a date, and I'm like, why am I on a date with this person when I know I don't want to be on a date with them? But because I was just feeling so low, I was like, oh well, let me just go. Like things like that, I started to notice like I'm not myself, I'm not happy, something's up, because why am I making these silly decisions? It doesn't make sense. But in general, that's something I learned, like not to put my confidence in things and achievements and all types of stuff, because the minute something goes wrong and the minute you don't feel happy or you don't feel proud of yourself, like your confidence goes down, and that cannot happen. So like now my confidence in myself is in myself as a person, but also like my confidence in my faith in God, like that is where my confidence is from. So it doesn't matter what I have materialistic wise, what achievements I have, whatever, I can be happy about them, they can make me happy, but at the end of the day, like my confidence and my source like is God. Like that's it, like that's something that no one could take from me or give me. Like that's my relationship with God. So like that's been important, that's been an important revelation for me, because yeah, it's a very dangerous place to put your confidence, your trust in things or just outside things. I think that's a very dangerous place to be. Okay, we've got lashes on. I'm always like, listen, the current lashes I've been wearing, guys, they're all like samples I'm trying out for my brand, right? And it's very frustrating because the way I get them is like, sometimes I mix them up, so I'm like, do I have the right lashes on? Or sometimes I have the right lashes on, but the way they're made, they're not consistent, and it's like, it's really annoying. But I'm trimming these because I feel like they're a bit too long for my likings. As I'm accomplishing things, I'm even more grateful, because I'm like, this, like the time is perfect. Like God knows best, because the time is perfect. If I would have got this before, I don't know how I would have handled it. I probably would have fumbled it. I probably wouldn't have been able to, like, you know, execute or do things the way I feel like I should do them now. So I'm just always feeling blessed about that. But in general, like preparation is key. Like, are you prepared for the things that you want to be blessed with? Do something every day that will bring you there, because it's not like, this ain't Dorothy. You're not gonna click your heels and then transform to this new person. Like, you have to be working at it every day. You're not just gonna become this person overnight. Like, it has to be a daily thing. You want to have a big promotion at work, and you want a corner office, and you want this and that. Like, is a woman that has that someone that gets up late, someone that complains all the time, someone who's not active? Okay, is she like down to small things like what your routine is at when you go to bed? Like, those things also impact who you are and who you're going to become. So start with those little things, start with small changes. It's best to be proactive and be in preparation, so when the opportunity presents itself, you stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. Okay, prepare. Even like when it comes to like having a home, like I want to have my own home, right? And like even like small things, like I'm like, oh, like do I keep like the space that I have, do I keep it the way I would want to keep my home, the way I envision it? Because that's another thing. Are you a good steward over the good things that you have now? Because to be trusted with more, you need to be trusted with the little you have now. That is something that I've also been like learning too. I gotta be a good steward over what I have now if I'm asking for more. If you want to be paid more, if you want bigger opportunities, are you taking care of what you have now? Are you just complaining? Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, guys, my space be getting messy, and I blame it on like, okay, I have a lot of clothes, I have a lot of stuff, like this is why it gets messy so quickly, because you guys know as a girl, when you get dressed, it's like everything goes everywhere because you never know what to wear. And sometimes my place be a mess, because it's just like I'm trying on different things and I have to get out of the house, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's fair. But now I'm trying to like create a routine to where like, okay, this day of the week is like the day that I do a proper spring clean every single week. every single week this is my day. Like, I'm trying to make sure, like, no, we're not gonna go with this excuse. Like, yes, you do have a lot of stuff, yes, you're running out of space, but we can work with this. So let's stop acting like we can't work with it, because we can. Some people work with less. Like, I feel like my space is really nice. Some people have less than this. Some people have smaller spaces to live in. Some people don't even have half the stuff I had. Like, do you know what I mean? So you gotta be a good steward over the things you have now. But like, and I feel like that's just a good way to live anyway, because like I said, preparation. Because when I do get a bigger space, if I put in the work now and I practice and get myself into routines now, when I do get a better space, I already have a routine. So it's gonna be like, I'm just continuing, if not getting better. So that's just one example. When you want big blessings, big responsibilities come with that too. You know, it's not just about having something nice. Like, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Are you prepared for that? Like, even with a house, like, I feel like it's a goal for everyone to have a home, to want to like own a home. For me, I feel like my goals have adjusted, because I feel like I would want to own a home with my husband, like when I have a family. Like, I feel like that is where I'm gonna want to. I feel like by myself, I wouldn't mind, but that's just not my goal. I just don't know how comfortable I would be, because again, like, I don't like to settle. So if I am to buy a house, it's gonna be a nice, spacious place every single day by myself. I don't know if I'm gonna feel like comfortable. Personally, that's just me. I'm not gonna explain it too much. I mean, things could change. I might just do it, you know, never know. But for me, like, that's just like in my mind. I don't know if I'm like a balance, or I'm like always like the one to like give perspective, because I think really big. I always have perspective. So like, I'm always one to say to my friends, like, is that how you really feel? Is that like pressure? Like, are you prepared? Like, you know, when you do own a home, like, if something happens to your home, you're responsible. Like, if the roof caves in, if the boiler goes out, if there's a flood, because you guys know how the drains are in the UK sometimes, stuff be flooding. Just know that it's a big responsibility, and like, prepare yourself to take it on. Everyone likes to focus on the accomplishments and like all the amazing things and like just the post. These things take stewarding, and it's just not easy. So prepare yourself from now. If you want to get the new car or the new place in a year, prepare yourself from now. Okay, I need to create a routine. Like, even like guys, like, I feel like some guys, they don't make the effort. Like, learn how to cook, learn how to clean, learn how to do all these things, like, before you be making these moves and then begging people's daughters to come and cook for you. Like, all of that. Like, learn, like, prepare yourself. Like, prepare yourself for your goals. And I feel like that even works in to make you more motivated, and it pushes it into manifestation, because it's like you're actively doing it. Like, it's something you're actively doing. Like, the other day I was in, guys, if you're in the UK, you know Wilko was closing down. Have they been bought? I feel like I heard Poundland bought them. They were closing down. So I went to my local to see, okay, let me see what's good. Why is it giving 20% off? Like, that's stingy. If you're closing down the store, give us a 60, 70, 80% off. Then give it 50%. What am I gonna do with that? No, it wasn't even 50, it was 20%. What am I gonna do with 20%? Babe. No. So I was even like just walking through, and I remember stopping at like some of like the plate stuff, and I was like intrigued, and I was like, maybe I need to start preparing myself for my next moves. So I was thinking like I like some really like cute home stuff, but when I saw it was 20% off, I just put it down, because I was like, girl, no. But even in my head, I was like, preparation, like, eventually I do want my own space, so I should start buying small bits here and there, like, and just putting them like away, just so that when that day does, I have things. I don't have to be starting from scratch. I don't have nothing. Like, I have stuff. So like, anything that you want for your life, start stepping into it every single day. I'm telling you, like, the more you step into it and you like start to move, live like it's happening, you're gonna be so surprised how like everything starts to come like to fruition. Honestly, I'm looking for my contour, you guys. I could not find it. Guys, I still haven't. Have I used this? I'm gonna use a little bit of it. Oh my gosh, I just used my Too Faced, but I think I took this out to use it, because I have not used it. This is the Pat McGrath concealer that everyone raves about. I have the shade MD25. Kind of looks very similar to Too Faced, to be fair. If that can help anyone, I just think it's so important. Like, everyone wants to talk about manifesting, and you know, girl, step into who you are today. Okay, stop waiting until next week, next month, next year, 2020. Girl, start today. Okay, all these New Year resolutions, start today. Get out your feelings again. No, I don't like to say get out your feelings, because I feel like emotions are important in terms of processing stuff. But you know what I mean, get into your bag, get into you know, get into it in general. Get into it, girl. I'm just gonna contour. You guys know I gotta focus right here, because I feel like sometimes my contours become harsh, and I don't want that. Like, sometimes it's okay to be, but not all the time. Like sometimes let's soften it. So I'm gonna try and do like a secure contour but quite soft. Even like in regards to dating, that's something I really want to talk about too, like my dating life. Like I said, I'm very grateful. Thank you for your services, thank you for your services. We're done. We're done. Okay, we're focused on ourselves right now. I want to have the whole married kids, like I want to have that. But as much as I've said that, and much as like me and my friends have had our chats, like, oh my gosh, the streets are treacherous, the streets are cold, like what is this? What is in the streets? It's not giving. Like, we've all had them conversations. What I like and what I want, sometimes it's not making sense. Like what you're going for and what you want is not making sense. And I feel like recently I'm like, okay, we need to change stuff. It's not making sense. Last year, the year before, where I feel like I was just like, I don't think I was, my eyes were open. Like I was baffled by my own decisions, should I say. In general, like when my eyes are open, in general, I feel like my dating life has been a bit, it's not been hard, but I feel like I was in a place where I don't really know what I want. I know what I'm attracted to, I know what I like, but there was times where I was dating people just to kind of see, and it's like, see, if you know you don't like this person and you know it's not likely you like this person, why are you even allowing them in your space? Like, why are you even doing that? You know, but sometimes it was like, let me just see. And I feel like you learn as well in your 20s, like, you start to learn, and I feel like that's what I'm grateful for as well, like dating wise, like learning myself, learning men as well, because you start to realize like sometimes men will just talk to you out of the sheer audacity. Not everyone who approaches you is genuine. Like sometimes they're just trying to, and do you know what, for me, I don't know, I've had it a lot where guys will say like my aura is quite like, not, can I say intimidating? I don't know if I want to use that, but intimidating, to where like sometimes they don't know how to approach, or like it's a thing where they're like, 9 times out of 10 people assume I've got a boyfriend already. That's one thing, I get that a lot. And then another part of it is like, oh, my energy's intimidating, or my energy's like strong. And listen, at first I was used to be like, oh, I'm not intimidating, like why do I have that energy? I have that energy. And do you know what, like the more I think about it, I feel like God is just using that as a veil. Don't go to this one. The way I look at dating is much different. I feel like I also spent a lot of time like in my 20s being convinced, and that's something that I've reflected on also. Let me just start. I haven't even finished blending my contour. Yeah, I feel like I spent some of my 20s being convinced. I feel like that's something I feel like a lot of women deal with, whether they like to admit or not, because I'm one of them girls, like I'm very headstrong. I know, like I'm not scared to talk up, but there has been times where I feel like I've been convinced of things. Like, you know when you have your standards up here and you've said to someone, this is my standard, this is what I want, or this is what I won't or will not accept, whatever, and it's like, they're like, yeah, and then once like you've been talking or whatever, then it's like slowly they try to like put it down, like try to like push it down, like you're saying this is where you are, and it's almost like they've got their hand here, like, yeah, but you could do this. I feel like a lot of dating, especially in your 20s, is like that. Like you're like, no, here, and it's fair because you know you're that girl, and they're like, no, but you could do this, but it's fine if we do, like why are you doing that? Like I think I spent some time doing that, and like again, like I'm quite headstrong in like dating in general, like I don't like to let no one play with me, and sometimes it's like a weird game, mental game, where it's like I've been made to think that I'm not, like, I don't know, it's weird. I hope you guys get what I mean, but it's like that weird thing where like you're holding it, like you're strong, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, but no, and then all of a sudden then you find yourself like, I did not hold my standard. And I feel like that's where boundaries is another thing that I've learned, like on my, like, boundaries are so important. Let's get into contour. I'm going to use my Chestnut ABH bronzer. Boundaries, oh my gosh, boundaries are so important. Is the part that I feel like can sometimes make you fall short. You just feel like, you know, you've been in the trenches for a while in these streets, and you finally found someone you kind of like. The boundaries, they're a thing. I've learned, like, if you have a boundary, don't move it for anything, anyone, any convincing, any, oh, but no. Once you have a boundary, leave it there and don't move on it. Then I've said it and I've stuck with it, and then next thing you know, I haven't stuck with it, and now I'm back to square one. But I feel like as long as you keep getting up and keep trying, I think That's the most important thing. I think I struggled a lot with boundaries because I've always tried to give people benefit of the doubt, or if I really feel like I have a history or I've had time put in, like I just feel like, oh, let me just, like, you know, you try to like give things like little red flags or little things that you know is not how it should be. You just give it a, you know, okay, it's fine. But no, like if you have a boundary, keep it there and don't move on it. Do not move on it. Like there's been times where I've had a boundary and I've stuck by it, like no. And then when they realize like I put my foot down, then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do that. And then it's this thing where it's like, this is why I'm a very big advocate of like leaving people in the past and not spinning the block. The times where I have allowed like, okay, let me see, like it's been a while, let's see if we can link up again, let's see. And it's like, you will have your standard, be like, okay, I'm not dealing with this, like it's not going back to how it was, like we're gonna do this, that and that. And it's like, it always goes back to the same, because familiarity, like when people feel like they're familiar with you, they know you, like it's like whatever you say, it's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter after a while. And that's happened to me where I've been like, okay, cut that person off, and then a month or year goes by and then we kind of link up again, it's the same thing, and I'm like almost kicking myself because I'm like, you know that, like deep down, you know, like even like when things are different in the beginning, or you're always going to circle back down to familiarity, and they're going to treat you how they used to treating you, because that's just their little cycle. And it's like, no, like I'm not going to be part of this crazy cycle, like I'm tapping out, goodbye. And I just feel like the whole spin the block, how people like try to like make it a thing now, I don't think that's necessarily good. That's just my opinion. Some people may think there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like there's always a reason like something different didn't work out, and if it didn't work out, you just leave it, because 9 times out of 10 it's just not really gonna do much for you. Like for some people it does actually work, like it does work, but for me, I just feel like it's not something that works for me. So yeah, I feel like that familiarity, I feel like it's very hard to create boundaries in that, because it's like if they never had to, you know, oblige to certain standards before, once they get you in their vicinity, they're not gonna feel like they have to, because oh well, we know each other already. Like no, like that's just not how it goes. It's no winning in that situation, because it's like you're fighting with a brick wall. Like they're just not gonna see your point. And I just feel like in regards to dating and relationships, like my self-worth like has to match my actions and my boundaries. Like I can't be letting things slide, or like excusing red flags because oh well, no, like whatever. Like I just feel like I deserve the best, and if you feel like you deserve the best, you shouldn't be willing to settle for anything less. So just because something appears to be nice but there's a few red flags there, like it's okay to be picky enough and be like, no, I don't like them red flags. Like for example, like so many like beautiful celebrity women dated someone and then they break up, and people are like, how could you let that man go? He's so good, he's so nice. But it's like, you don't know, like he could have great things about him, but he's not clicking or ticking certain boxes for that person. It's okay to move on and find someone that can do that for you. Like just because aesthetically they look good or they have money, like doesn't mean you have to stick with that person just because. Like I feel like it's so much more to it. If you value yourself in the way you're meant to, you would not settle for anything. Like you would not settle for anything less. Don't settle for the first man that has some money and looks good. Like really sit down, like is he my type personality wise? Does he have the same morals and values as me? Like, do we believe in the same things? Not just the same music. Politically, even like social values. Like, how does he treat people? Like, not just you. How does he treat other people? There's things that I find important that maybe some other women don't find important. But in general, like, for me as an individual, like that's important to me, like how you treat other people. I would want you to be like a good man in general, not just to me, but in general, because especially if it's someone that you see your future with, or you want to have children with, or you want to build a life with, like you want to be able to trust that, like trust across the board. You know, there's so much things that are important. I feel like some people just be like, no, he's nice, he has money, get into it. But it's like, there's so much more to that. Do you know what I mean? There's so much more to that. And I feel like even when you deal with someone who has like more, like always financially like has more or is more stable, I won't even say stable, because sometimes people just have money and they're not stable, they just have access. And I feel like with that is so glamorized. We know, like, you guys know I love me some city girls, I like me some female rap, but I think even with that is a glamorization of that, like, oh, be with a guy who can get you things and buy you things and take you here and take you there, and that's all fun. But there's so much more to that. Like, I feel like that music is fun for a fun time, like with your girls, and you know, it's cool, but you shouldn't be trying to live like that. I always judge a thing like, if I'm talking to a guy or dealing with a guy who has access or has a certain amount of like money, I don't I don't use my scale to judge like how they would do things for me. So for example, I've got gifted like an expensive gift from someone. I'm not gonna make this gift be such a big thing when I know to them it's not. Because you could be screaming up and down like, oh my gosh, he bought me this, oh my gosh, I got this, but what does it mean to them? Because a bag could mean nothing to them. If they're making enough money or they have access to enough things, I don't know, a Chanel bag can mean nothing to them. They can be like, okay, here, I know she's gonna love it. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, she did all of this for me. And it's okay to feel like that, but you always got to look at like the intention behind it. Like, well, did you buy it because you thought I would love it, like, you know, like this is my thing? Or did you buy it because it's a little trinket? Okay, you got to sometimes read between the lines. And like, I've been gifted things, and like that's a big reason like for me why I just don't like publicize things when I get things, because I just feel like I appreciate this stuff. Like, you guys know I'm into beauty, I'm into looks, I'm into fashion. I love fashion. I feel like recently I've been so into fashion, like it's just crazy. Like, I always was, but I feel like now I have such an appreciation, especially for like luxury fashion and like learning about the brands and like the fashion houses. Like, that's something I'm really into recently, which is new. But even when I am like gifted things, like I'm just more like, I'm into like how you actually feel, like your intention, like personality, like how we're actually getting along. Like, that's what I value the most. Like, those things are nice because you guys know it. Like I said, I love a good dress up, I love a good look, I love a good bag, I love a good shoe. There's more things in a relationship or in a dating situation that are important to me than that. I appreciate it, I love it, love it, love it for the girls, but it's always more to that, you know, that's important. So I don't even know how we got on this topic. I guess we're on dating and relationships now. That's just, I guess, on my mind right now. And it's okay if you make some mistakes, or you know, you don't always make the right decisions. That's okay, we're human beings. But I just think it's so important to hold yourself up, okay? It doesn't matter who you're talking to, how successful, how famous, it doesn't matter. Like, always be yourself and know that like you are worthy, you are valued, and you are amazing, okay? It's so easy to second guess yourself. Of course, we're in a time of social media where like there's so much to compare yourself to online, and it's just like, remember, there's only one of you. There can only be one of you. Only one. One of one. The only one. Don't let me start quoting Beyonce. Let me blend this concealer in, and then we'll come back and set it. I'm literally using my e.l.f. Tan Neutral. You guys, I know I love these two. Like, they're my faves. So I'm gonna set like normal. Like, I've learned sometimes the hard way to stick to how I feel, stick to my word, and don't allow anyone to like move me, or like just don't allow nobody to trick you out of your position. Some people are like really good at like sticking, but someone like me, I'll be honest, like I need to, like, I gotta work on that. And it's more so with my relationships, because with my friendships, like I'm very good on like holding my boundaries and being solid on certain things and like keeping my word. But like the relationship one's a bit different. And I think that's because of my emotions. Like, I'm a pretty like no nonsense, and I feel like when it comes to a romantic relationship for me, I like to like not be like that, because I feel like it should be a safe space, you know. I feel like I pretty much have to be like that in the world and just in general. And I feel like when it comes to my relationship, that's when I can be like soft, like just nice and just like free. That's what I feel like it should be, and I feel like it should be like that for everyone. And that's why sometimes it gets a little bit tricky for me because I let down my defenses. And like, when you do let down your defenses, you would expect the person you know let down your defenses for to be nice. But sometimes it's like they can be selfish and like just you know how it is. But well, we're mainly girls here because I check my analytics and we're like over 90% girls, so you guys know how it is. Just like I was talking about like preparing yourself like for the life you want, career, whatever, it also ties into relationships too, that like you do have to prepare yourself for that. Like, regardless of what you want with a relationship or the dynamic of the relationship, you still have to be prepared for that, like, and how that's gonna look and how that's gonna affect your life. Like, whenever you find yourself in a season where you're waiting to go to the next season, or you're in a space where you can prepare yourself, like, it's best to be prepared, okay? Because you can be asking for this kind of relationship, and then when you get it, you find it daunting, like you find it a bit harder than you thought. For example, like when you're in a relationship, you actually have to consider the person a lot. Like, consideration is a big part of it. So like, will you be okay with that? Will you be okay with missing out on certain things because you have responsibilities? Will you be okay with compromising on certain things? Like, if you're used to getting up at this time and doing this, like, if you're in the same bedroom as someone and they don't get up at that time, like, are you okay with adjusting your schedule and your routine because of them? Because you have to compromise. So like, even things like that, you have to like prepare yourself to be okay with that. Well, I feel like I've been waiting and preparing, like, for what I want relationship wise. Like, I'm always like trying to like check myself, like, will I be okay with this? Like, am I gonna be okay with that? Like, just being a bit more patient as well, because I lack patience. I don't have patience the most times. Like, I have patience for certain things, but for certain things I'm just like, why can't you figure it out? Like, why don't you know? Like, I can be like that. And even like as someone who wants to like have children, I'm like, I gotta be more patient. I gotta be more patient. I've got to be more able to like hold myself and like let people figure things out. And I think obviously some things come with time, some things come with experience. I'm still young, I'm still in my 20s, but I feel like it's really good to like just be proactive in it anyways, you know, regardless if you're going to be super prepared or not. Like, some things just happen, but if you be proactive, I think that's the best way to, you know, go for things. But yeah, so I feel like I've set pretty well. We're gonna go ahead and contour, and then we're basically done. We are finished. Another thing I feel like I didn't really touch on was aesthetic wise. I feel like, because I feel like everyone talks about that. But you know what, it's crazy. I don't think young girls have the awkward stage anymore, because I feel like they consume a lot of the same content we consume. So I feel like, for example, there's not really content online, whether it be music, entertainment, TV shows, clothing, like nothing that we consume. I don't think there's like a middle ground for like young girls. Like, I can't tell you a TV show, a musician, a clothing store that is for them. Like, it's either their children or they jump straight into young adulthood, and I think that's very dangerous. Like, when I was growing up, we had all the middle ground ever. Like, we had Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, That's So Raven was on TV. Like, I think My Life and Kids on was at this point, because my oldest siblings used to watch My Life and Kids, and Trouble 101, like that was on. There was like a load of different shows that was like art, like that age range shows. I would never watch like what a 19 or 18-year-old would watch. Even when it comes to musicians, like, remember like Mindless Behavior, OMG Girls, like that used to be a thing. And like, what do these kids have now? What do these young girls have now? Like, boy bands, like people to like, of course, like, you've always had crushes on like musicians and stuff, but there was always like a middle ground, and I feel like we don't have that anymore. No one talks about like them transitions, because for me, like, I'm gonna tell you guys, when I was in like 16, 17, like I was in a very much like t-shirt, denim, nice trainers. Like, that was very much like a nice t-shirt, some denim and some trainers, like a nice trouser. Like, or like in the summer I would do like high waist shorts, like Levi shorts with like a graphic tee. Like, that was my vibe. Like, that was very much me. I've always been someone who's like very into my own style, and I would advise everyone to find their own style. It's okay to be inspired by other people, influencers, people you subscribe and watch, but it's very important to have your own style, and it should come from yourself. Once you find your own style, what you like, you can then be inspired and influenced by other people. I think going outside first, I think, is like rule number one mistake, where it's like you're literally trying to morph into somebody else. Like, you know, when there was a phase where we had like the Kim K Yeezy clones, low-key I feel like we still have a little bit of that, especially on TikTok. But I think it's really important to find your style, what fits you, what you like to wear, what makes you happy. Everyone don't have to be in neutrals, okay? If you love color, wear color. I'm all about like the differences. It's okay to be maximalist and not minimalist, okay? Your house don't have to be like the Stone Age. It can be nice and colorful. Just make it work for you. Like, find your style. Once you find your style, you can go outside and be inspired by others, because you know it's like, I like that, I like the way she wore that, but the way I'm gonna wear it is gonna be a bit different. I've been loving my NARS Exhibit A. Where was I? You know, it's not where was I knew this was a good blush, but I was just like the price point, and then it went down. But another thing I want to talk about that I feel like I really haven't, I kind of touched on it earlier about career and like work. Where I work now is not where I want to work. It's very much temporary and just that's where I am for now. I think in every season there's something to learn. Again, my faith comes into play. It's like, whatever God wants for me, like, I'm not moving until he wants me to move. Like, I have to learn a lesson in every season. So if I find myself in a season where I'm like, I don't know why I'm here, find the lesson in your experience. You don't know what skills you're gonna need in the next season. So like for me, there's something at my work that I learned to do with like the systems, like a whole new software, and learning how to navigate that. I didn't think I would need that, but when I started learning it, I was like, wow, like God's actually preparing me, because the certain software system that we're using is definitely something I know I will be using in the future with my own stuff. So I'm like, it's crazy, because I would have learned to do this by myself. So like, even if it's basic things, like always sit and think, is there a reason, something I need to learn here for future? Being committed and being consistent, that could be something you need to learn. And as simple as that sounds, like getting up, going to work, doing what you need to do and coming home, that might be something that you actually may need in the next season. Like, you may need to be that disciplined with yourself. I just think it's best to always think, what can you learn from the situation? What is the situation teaching me? Is it teaching me how to manage my time? Is it teaching me consistency? Is it teaching me work ethic? Is it teaching, like, literally, it doesn't have to be anything literal, like I said, with like software and stuff, but it can literally be time management, consistency, work ethic. It may even be your dream job or your dream role that you've got, and then all of a sudden you realize this is a lot more work than I thought it would be. That last season you were in that you hated so bad and you wanted to get out of, that would have taught you how to manage longer hours. So that experience would help you with your next season. So sometimes it's all about perspective, you know, like, what if I'm still in a situation that I don't want to be in? Let me try and make the moves and make the plans to elevate, but also while I'm here, let me grab the lessons that I can take with me to the next season, because I just feel like there's always something you can learn, and like, that's just the way I thought about it. And I feel like once I've learned everything that I need to learn, I know I will go to the next step. So that's just my little two piece. Let me finish. I'm basically done with this makeup look. I'm gonna go with my lip liner. This is obviously my Richie liner. I always use her. Oh, that was on my mouth the whole time. I'm gonna try one of my new lip glosses and see how I feel. I wore this so much in Greece, but since I've been back, I haven't really been able to play with makeup, so I haven't really have a go of it. But it's a really nice, like, nudie natural color with some shimmer. We love that. We love that. I'm actually going to use something different. I got this in PR, the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. This is the Cactus Flower Water Vitamin C one. This used to be like such a staple. Not this one, the purple one, this one. This one used to be such a staple on YouTube back in the days. Like, when I first started watching YouTube, I did have a channel. The girls used to love Urban Decay All Nighter. Like, it's crazy that I've got in PR now. Such a full circle moment. Because I remember watching YouTube and being like, oh, I wish I could have this. Like, because I don't know if Urban Decay was even on sale in the UK back then, or like maybe I just didn't know and I was too young. But yeah, I'm gonna use this. Actually, it's a nice spray, because looking at it, it looks like a regular like spray, like it's just gonna squirt out, but it's a really nice spray. The 20s is something else. I feel like we all complain about it, but it is a journey, and I feel like we're all going through it. Whether you're your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, I feel like just growing and doing life is always a whole thing, okay? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little update, girl talk. Don't forget to give me a nice thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you have not already. I mean, if you made it this far, you might as well. And I will see you guys in my next video.